Ethan Wells had been delivering for Deliveroo in North London for almost 2 years, but nothing in his job had ever taken him to Harrow Lane at night. It was nearly midnight when the rain turned heavier, making the streets shine like black glass. His last order popped up on the screen: 23 Harrow Lane. Hand it to the customer. He sighed. Harrow Lane was a dead quiet street where lampposts barely worked even in daylight. The entire ride felt unnervingly silent. No cars passing, no footsteps, not even a dog barking. Just the sound of rain hammering his helmet. When he turned onto Harrow Lane, Ethan slowed down immediately. Every house on the road looked completely dark. Curtains pulled, windows wet with condensation. But number 23 stood out. Not because of its lighting, but because it looked as if it hadn't been lived in for decades. The wood on the porch was rotting. Ivy had swallowed half the wall. 3 dusty milk bottles sat beside the door, covered in spiderwebs. Ethan checked the address again. It matched. He climbed the steps and knocked. The door opened instantly, slowly but instantly, like someone had been standing right behind it. A tall, pale man stood in the doorway. His face looked stretched, like someone had pulled his skin tight. His eyes were sunken. His lips cracked and strangely darkened. "You're late," the man whispered. His voice sounded hollow, like it wasn't coming from his throat, but from the walls behind him. Ethan tried to push a shaky smile. "Sorry, mate. Rain's brutal tonight." The man didn't blink. "Come inside. You must place the food in the hallway. We don't step outside anymore." A shiver crawled up Ethan's back. "I can't go in, mate. Just need you to take the order." The man tilted his head. "Payment was made years ago." Ethan forced a small laugh. "It says paid online today." The man's thin lips stretched into a smile that didn't look human. "Time works differently in this house." Ethan decided not to argue. He stepped 1 foot inside and lifted the takeaway to hand over. That's when he noticed the wall opposite the door. There were photographs pinned across it, dozens of them, each one of a delivery rider. Different uniforms, different years. The earliest one looked like the 90s. Some faces were scratched out. Some riders looked terrified. Some looked injured. Then Ethan's heart stopped. The last picture, fresh, clear, was his own Deliveroo profile picture, printed and stuck there, even though he had never been there before. Underneath it, in handwritten ink, the date read, December 5th, 2025. Ethan stumbled back, but the man closed the door with a sudden slam. Ethan grabbed the handle and twisted. It wouldn't move. It felt like hands from the other side were holding it shut. Then he heard it. Whispers. Not one voice. Not 2. Dozens. All speaking the same sentence in a rhythmic, sickening chant. "Don't let him leave. Don't let him leave. Don't let him leave." Ethan spun around. At the top of the staircase, 4 figures stood in the dimness. Shadows shaped like people, but their limbs bent the wrong way. Their heads drooped unnaturally, as if their necks had broken long ago. One of them moved, jerking its legs sideways like a puppet with cut strings. Ethan rammed the door with his shoulder. Nothing. He tried again. On the 3rd attempt, the door flung open so violently he nearly fell onto the wet porch. He sprinted into the rain, slipping on the pavement, desperately trying to get away. As he ran, he felt a burning scratch across the back of his neck, like someone had dragged long fingernails across his skin. He didn't look back. He didn't want to see what had touched him. Later, CCTV footage from the street showed everything. Ethan bolting from the house, stumbling, grabbing at his neck. Behind him, a tall, dark silhouette stood motionless in the doorway of number 23, watching him run. But when police arrived at the house the next morning, the door was sealed shut with thick dust, as if it hadn't opened in years. Inside, there was no furniture, no electricity, nothing except mold and debris. And on one crumbling wall, they found 8 photographs. Ethan's picture was the newest one, pinned exactly where he remembered it. Fresh ink, fresh paper, as if someone had put it up just hours earlier. But the house had been uninhabited since 2004. Liam Turner had been delivering for Uber Eats around Southampton for years, and he'd grown used to strange late-night orders. But the one that came in at 11:42 p.m. on a cold January night felt different from the start. It was a simple order: chicken jalfrezi with pilau rice. Delivery address: Flat 12, Kingfisher Apartments. Kingfisher wasn't a place delivery drivers liked going. 6 years ago, a man named Harold Thompson had died in Flat 12. People said he was found days later, sitting upright at his dining table as if he'd been waiting for someone. Still, work was work. The building looked worse than Liam remembered. Flickering hallway lights, peeling paint, the kind of silence that feels heavier than noise. The lift was out of service, so he took the stairs. Each step echoed too loudly, like the building was empty inside. When he reached the door of Flat 12, he noticed something uncanny. Warm light glowed from underneath the door, but the electricity in the entire building had been cut earlier that day. Liam knew because he'd passed 2 electricians leaving the entrance. He knocked. Immediately, the door opened. A man stood there, thin, gray-skinned, eyes slightly too wide, like he was forcing them open. His clothes looked outdated, like something from the late 90s. "Thank you for coming," the man said politely. His voice didn't match his face. It sounded strangely layered, like 2 voices speaking in sync. Liam felt his stomach drop. "Well, your food," he said slowly, lifting the bag. The man stepped aside. "Put it on the table inside." Liam hesitated. "Sorry, mate. I can't enter the property. Company rules." The man tilted his head almost 45 degrees, as if his neck weren't built right. "You're safe here. I've been expecting you." A cold rush ran down Liam's back. "Expecting me? You only ordered 20 minutes ago." The man's lips pulled into a tight smile. "I ordered a long time ago. 6 years, in fact." Liam froze. 6 years. Before Harold Thompson died. He stepped back, but something inside the flat caught his eye. A television screen flickering in a room behind the man. It was showing faces. Dozens of them. All delivery drivers. The screen switched again. Liam's face appeared. His Uber Eats profile photo. Underneath, delivery number 49, arriving tonight. Liam's breath stuttered. "Why is my picture there?" The man didn't blink. "It updates whenever a new one is chosen." Without warning, the hallway light above Liam fizzed, flickered, and died, leaving only the warm light coming from inside the flat. And then he heard it. Footsteps. Multiple sets of footsteps inside the flat. Slow, heavy, dragging. But the man at the door hadn't moved an inch. Liam backed away. "I'm leaving." The man spoke again, but this time his voice sounded deeper, older, like someone else was speaking through him. "You can't leave yet. Not until you've been claimed." The footsteps grew louder, approaching the doorway. Liam turned and ran down the stairs, taking 3 steps at a time. Something followed. He could hear it, a scraping sound on the metal handrail, as if long nails were dragging along it behind him. When he reached the ground floor, the foyer light burst suddenly like a blown bulb. The entire building plunged into darkness. Liam sprinted outside and didn't stop until he reached his bike. He reported the incident immediately. Police went to Kingfisher Apartments in the morning. Flat 12 was sealed shut, locked from the outside, thick dust covering the floor inside, and no working electricity. But in the lounge, on a dusty old dining table, was a takeaway bag containing the same chicken jalfrezi, untouched, cold. Next to it sat a moldy wallet with an ID card. The photo belonged to Harold Thompson, dead 6 years. When they checked the old TV inside the flat, the screen was cracked, dead for years. But in the lounge, on a dusty old dining table, was a takeaway bag containing the same chicken jalfrezi, untouched, cold. Next to it sat a moldy wallet with an ID card. The photo belonged to Harold Thompson, dead 6 years. When they checked the old TV inside the flat, the screen was cracked, dead for years. But one single image was burnt into the glass permanently, almost like a ghost imprint. Liam's Uber Eats profile photo, the newest face added, even though he never stepped inside. Ellie Barnes was working a late shift at Domino's in Birmingham when an order came through that made her laugh at first. Large pepperoni. Deliver to Old Ranger Cabin, Cannock Chase Forest. Nobody ordered pizza to the forest. But the payment was done. Tip included. Address verified. Her manager shrugged. Take Sam with you if you're nervous. But Sam was already out on another run. So Ellie went alone. The drive toward Cannock Chase was eerie. The further she got from the main road, the more the fog thickened, curling between the trees like white smoke. Her radio kept losing signal. Her phone flickered between SOS and 1 bar. When she reached the forest car park, her GPS rerouted her to a narrow dirt path. She sighed. Who the hell orders pizza out here? The walk took 10 minutes. Every crunch of dead leaves under her boots echoed like someone was walking right behind her. Twice she turned, expecting to see someone, but there was no one. Finally, she saw the cabin. It looked abandoned, wood blackened with age, windows boarded from inside. And yet, a faint orange glow seeped from the cracks, like there was a fire burning inside. Ellie approached the door. It was halfway open. "Hello?" she called softly. "Domino's delivery." No answer. She pushed the door slightly. The smell hit her first. Burnt wood. And something else. Something rotten. Inside, the faint firelight flickered. It came from a large fire pit in the center of the cabin, logs crackling. Around the fire, four shapes sat on old wooden stools. At first Ellie thought they were mannequins. Each one wore a carved wooden mask. Long noses, hollow eyes, twisted grins. Expressions painted in red and black. They didn't move. Ellie whispered, "This is some joke, right?" Then she noticed something horrifying. Under each mask was a human body. Burnt, charred, almost skeletal. The masks weren't sitting on dummies. They were sitting on corpses. Her stomach twisted. She stepped back, but something crunched beneath her shoe. She looked down. Another mask, face down on the floor. She bent slightly to see it and saw a tag tied to it. Reserved for the deliverer. Ellie dropped the pizza box. A soft creak came from behind her. She turned. The door she'd left half open was now fully shut, and someone was standing next to it. A tall figure, wearing a long wooden mask carved so deeply it looked like a screaming face. The figure tilted its head. Slowly, too slowly. Ellie froze. I'm leaving." The masked figure lifted its hand. His fingers were black with soot, and it pointed to the empty stool by the fire. The one without a body. The one facing the mask marked deliverer. Ellie backed away. Her breath shook. "No. No. No. No." Behind her, the four corpses around the fire creaked, their spines bending backwards like old wood breaking. She heard a whisper, soft but layered, like more than one voice speaking at once. "Sit down." Ellie ran. She shoved the door open and sprinted into the trees. Branches whipped her face. She didn't care. Something heavy was moving behind her. Fast, snapping twigs, crushing leaves. She didn't dare look back. When she reached the car park, her hands shook so badly she dropped her keys twice. She never looked over her shoulder. She just drove. The cabin was investigated the next day. No fire, no masks, no borders. The entire structure looked like it hadn't been used in 30 years. Except for one thing. On the cabin floor, police found a fresh Domino's pizza box. Inside it was a single hand-carved wooden mask, carved with Ellie's initials inside, and still warm to the touch.